getting out of your mind, being in that silent, essential place of who I am, who we are. We're not the personality. The personality was something that's been given to us over the course of our years, childhood particularly. You're this, you're a boy, you're English, you're Catholic, you're clever, you're stupid. All these are labels attached to us, and we actually grow up thinking that's who we are, but actually we are something immensely greater and unlimited. That's the word. It's all very good having meditation, but unless I'm sharing it, unless it's being transmitted, what's the point? Most religions have the concept of service, and for me that's my service, is to share intimations of silence, intimations of infinity, intimations of something that's bigger than ourselves. Becoming a painter, I suddenly found that once a year, painting was painting itself. It wasn't this personality, this character, Rashid, painting it. It was something that was happening by itself. That was magic. That sort of went off and on through my childhood, even at school. I felt that sort of detachment, that freedom, which comes with meditation. Painting for me was a pathway to that and an introduction to that. After art school, the mind somehow is very clever and takes control again. And that early freedom that I felt, it's like what they call beginner's zen. I lost it. So what was happening in my painting was my mind was trying to control the painting all the time, giving names to that's a leaf, that's a branch, that's a bit of sunlight. Painting is so much more without limits that I recognized it was my mind that was interfering and contracting the painting. And then I found meditation, you see. I went to be with Osho for 15 years. That gave me the distance, or the possibility of finding the distance between that mind, the personality, that facade that we build up to deal with the world, and the silence, the emptiness, which is the true source of creativity. But it took me 15 years sitting at Osho's feet to regain that clarity, that spaciousness. I just knew I had something that needed to be expressed. I didn't know what it was. And in a way, I still don't know what it was. But I just cobbled together all the canvases I could find, like half a dozen, like using old stretchers and old canvases turned over, and started work and started painting. And gradually the theme began to emerge. And the theme was that they were abstract, which was also novel for me, completely novel. But also they had a certain sort of geometric simplicity, actually to do with the circle. And then I realized that actually all the canvases needed to be square. But at this time, things were beginning to get a sort of momentum. I was still not knowing what I was doing, and the series was initially called Not Knowing the Most Intimate. And I'm quoting a Japanese Zen master saying that to a disciple. The master asked the disciple where he was going to travel when he wanted to leave the monastery. The novice monk said, I don't know. And the monk said, the master, not knowing is the most intimate. And I loved that, I've always loved that. And it seems very pertinent to these paintings. There'd be a break, and then another series would start, and they would have a different quality. And this lot I called And It's a Mirror. that persisted for, I don't know, a few months, and then there'd be another break. And then another series started, and the third series was called Something from Nothing, because in a way that's what the key was, that it's something from nothing. But then I remember reading in physics that they've done experiments now where they can actually create matter or create something in the void of outer space. The equivalent is by putting two sheets of metal together and passing an incredibly powerful electric current between them. Something is formed that wasn't there before. And I thought, yeah, Nothing from Nothing is the next title. And then there was a final series, because then I went to India and I came back and I finally got the cancer. So lots of other things were then had to happen, so there was a break. But in amongst it, I managed to do the last 4 paintings, and I've called them The Wealth of the Void. From nothing, there's everything. In nothing, there's everything. And this is more and more my experience, actually, basically from meditation, but in life. That's a difficult question. When is a painting complete? You see, I think it's not at any verbal level. I mean, I want to say something like, it just tells you it's finished, it tells you. But of course, they don't tell you, they don't speak. But there is a sense that there's nothing more, it's nothing more to say there. That was easy. I didn't select them. I got a curator friend to select them. The ones we mostly selected were the later ones. So I've been working on this series really for 2.5 years. Somehow I was just so interesting that the quality could improve over time. And not that I take ownership of that improved quality, it's just that somehow the arm and the fingers know better what to do and how to do it, and are more and more confident and more into improvising and experimenting. My hope is that they'll stand there in front of the painting without ideas, without knowledge or lack of knowledge. You know, it's just there to be looked at with an innocent eye. And that's very difficult in our culture. It's very difficult. But as much as possible, I would like people to be silent in front of them and hear what they're saying. They're looking at the picture and then seeing who's looking. Yeah. There's this lovely story, which was that I came into the room one day and I saw a painting just stacked there. And I was on my way through into the bathroom and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I thought, that's wonderful. And I didn't know it was mine. That's the key, is that I don't feel they're mine now. They've gone from me. Like kids in a way. You know, they've got their own lives to lead. And yeah, goodbye. I love you. Funnily enough, after, about 6 or 7 months of dealing with the cancer and the fatigue that I get from either the medication or the cancer, or both, but I've now on a half dose of the medication, and just this last few days I'm limbering up for a new series, all painted on gold. Now why gold, I don't know. But there's something about the use of gold as infinity, as not a stable surface. Like a mirror is not a stable surface because you don't know where it is, it's here or there. But something like that with gold, and I don't know what's going to happen. It is both an ongoing extension and also completely different. Like, for example, I'm painting on plywood panels as opposed to canvases. I'm painting much smaller. I mean, the canvases I prepared are much smaller. I think there will be something premeditated in this first one. I'm wanting a repetitive pattern. So I want to make it accurately repetitive, so I'm actually cutting a stencil. So really, I don't know. There's been a big break of 7 months, 6 or 7 months when I haven't painted. I'm in a new psychology, which is death is near. It's part of life, and I've made the adjustments of acceptance and welcoming, and it's part of the dance. And so I don't know how the dance will evolve with these ones. "60 years of the figurative and the wrestling with paint and vision and transformation. That process has informed all these ones. And I really can't explain why, and wouldn't trust anyone who did, actually. How interesting, I've never thought of this. But I've noticed always that I'm a colorist. I've always subscribed to that label, being a colorist, more than, for example, it was so difficult for me wrestling with dimensionality in a painting, the depth, whereas harmonious color always seemed to come easily. And I think that might have been a lot to do with growing up in a grey world during the war. I remember coming back to London. What a grey city it was. There was all this smog. All the buildings were blackened or bombed. There was a sort of greyness, darkness around. My infanthood had been spent in the country, where there's always flowers and greenery and stuff. So I think I've always felt doubly impelled by the excitement of putting two colours together. It always excites me, always. And I can remember that going back to 7-year-old.